I wanted to spruce up this new bathtub by giving it a new fancy cover. I measured the height of my bathtub and decided to cut luxury vinyl plank pieces that I had left over from another project. Using luxury vinyl plank works really well because it's water resistant. I cut my pieces to size, I removed the existing quarter round, and I replaced it with flexible base shoe molding. I got this off of Amazon. It's waterproof and it's a polyurethane molding. I put the bottom piece in place using construction adhesive. After that, I added my luxury vinyl plank pieces. I connected them using their clock and lick system, which allowed me to get one piece to fit right into the other one. I added plenty of liquid nails behind the pieces, and I just went along the bathtub adding them one by one. There are places in the tub where there are some indentations, so once I finished adding all of the vinyl plank pieces, I made sure to take a little bit of tape and secure everything and let it dry overnight. The next morning, I removed the tape and everything was stuck very firmly. At this point, I measured and cut my top piece of shoe molding, and I put this into place again using the construction adhesive. And that was it. It was that easy. This was a great project that only cost me $25 and took 2 days to complete, only because of the drying time for the liquid adhesive.
This small section of my bathroom was in need of a little makeover, but I didn't want to break the bank. I started by cleaning everything in the bathroom, especially the floor. First, I vacuumed the tile really well, then sprayed a tub and tile cleaner all over and scrubbed it well, making sure to get any loose dirt removed. I followed that up with mopping the floor, then using old rags to dry everything thoroughly. Next, starting at the farthest end of the room, I took some painter's tape and began placing it on the floor. I overlapped the strips of tape to ensure the tile was completely covered. I used small strips to go around the toilet to ensure it was all covered, then continued on finishing taping off the floor. Next was the fun part. I purchased these peel and stick tiles from Amazon for about $13 a box, which is a really great price. I started by laying out the tiles to get an idea of how many I would need and how to fit them in the space. Once I was happy with how it looked, I was ready to start installing them. I started in the far left corner of the space since that was the easiest spot. I made sure the tile was upright according to the arrows on the back, then I simply peeled the backing off and pressed it down on the floor. This tile required no grout, so I placed the next tile directly next to the first tile and continued that pattern until I had applied all the full-size tiles that I could. When it was time to cut the tiles, I used one of the backing pieces of paper to measure the size of the area and make a template. I took that template, placed it on the tile, and used a box cutter to cut the tile to size. When it came to working around the doors, I used a ruler to measure the length of the opening and the width of each piece of trim to make kind of a staircase cut so the tiles fit around the door trim nicely. I then used all the scraps that I had remaining to fill the extra space. This space was far from being square and the tiles are uneven, so despite my best efforts, the tiles had some gaps. So I decided to fill in the gaps with some leftover grout that I already had on hand. I added a bit of water to the mix, mixed it up, and applied it to the cracks, then used wet rags to remove the excess. Once the grouting was done, I used some all-purpose white caulk to caulk around the perimeter of the space, especially around the tub and around the toilet. This really pulled the floor together and sealed everything to prevent moisture from penetrating underneath. Once the caulk was dry, I added a new shower curtain and a rug, and this little portion of my bathroom fits my style so much better, and I no longer have to look at those stained tiles. If you have a space in your home that needs an upgrade on a budget, I hope you find this project inspirational.
Here's a quick and inexpensive way to update an old mirror. I grabbed this faux wood wallpaper off of Amazon, and it cost me less than $6 for the roll. I measured the width that I needed to cut the paper in order to fully fit this kind of mirrored border that I already had on the mirror. Once I had that width, I cut strips of the wallpaper a bit wider than what I needed. Then I simply placed the paper along the border on the left-hand side. It went on smoothly and easily. Once it was positioned where I wanted it to be, I used a straight razor to cut along the mirror's edge. I did the same thing along the right-hand side of the mirror, and then I worked my way to the bottom. I measured the width that I needed, and then cut it so that I would have a little bit of overlap and a really good seam on the sides. The final piece was my installation across the top. It looked really great, it adhered easily, and then of course all I needed to do was to continue to go around it a little more just to fine-tune the edges and make sure that everything was attached and adhered in the way that I wanted it to look. I hope this inspires you to use some peel and stick faux paper to create a different look in your bathroom.
So you know those towels you've been hanging on to that are falling apart? Instead of throwing them away or turning them into rags, try this instead. I laid them out vertically on my cutting mat and using my large ruler and a rotary cutter, cut each towel into 4-inch strips. I ended up using a total of 3 towels, 2 charcoal gray and 1 beige. Next, I grabbed 2 gray strips and 1 beige strip, cut the hem off the tops, then stacked them on top of each other, sandwiching the beige strip in the middle. Then I lined the edges up and pinned them in place. I cut a long strand of heavy-duty thread, slid a needle to the middle of the thread, then tied the 2 ends in a double knot. Then I hand-stitched the pieces together. Next, I began folding each strip first so the long sides met in the middle, then folded it in half to get a more polished look. I pinned the strip all the way down to keep it folded. I repeated the same steps for the other 2 strips. Once the strips were folded, I began braiding the 3 strands. If you don't know how to braid, lay the 3 strands out on a flat surface. Start with the strand on the right side and cross it over to the left over the center strand. That strip is now the center strand. Next, cross the strand on the left to the right over the center strand, then continue braiding until you reach the end of the strands and place a pin in the end of the braid. When it was time to add another strip, I either hand stitched them together or used my sewing machine. Then I continued folding each strip, then went on braiding. Once I used all the strips, I hand stitched the end together. Now that I had my long giant braid, I found the beginning or the top of the braid, then started creating a spiral and sewing the outer braid piece to the inner braided piece. The stitches don't need to be perfect and there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I found the slip stitch to be the best. I continued creating a circle by spiraling the braid until I was happy with the size. Then I cut each end of each strip off, tucked in the ends, then stitched them in place. I cut a non-slip mat that I got from the Dollar Tree, placed that on the floor of my bathroom, then added my upcycled towel bath mat. I love that I was able to repurpose my old towels into a super comfy bath mat that is absorbent and machine washable.
I have this small 24-inch wide sink that really doesn't allow me to fit much on its surface at all, so I ran to the hardware store and picked up some wood. Once I got home, I determined how high I wanted my shelf to be. I have a pretty high faucet, so I needed to make mine pretty tall. You'll adjust yours to the height that's appropriate for you. I cut my wood to the appropriate length. Then I simply placed the 2 pieces of wood together using an L bracket. I didn't want the rough edge of the wood to show on top of my shelf, so I made sure to attach the L bracket in a way that the rough edge stayed underneath the top part of the shelf. I set it into place and started playing around with how I wanted to organize my things on this new shelf. You could also, of course, finish this to your desired look. You could stain the wood or paint it or whatever goes great in your bathroom.